Hello there team. So this is a battle I got done yesterday. One of the only successful battles we managed to run start to finish yesterday. It was a very unlucky day for crashes and disconnects and the like. But we got this one done and it was kind of worth it, I'd like to say. At 50,000 frames, this was a pretty long siege for Edoras. Keep in mind we did start at 6,000 frames in. It's a 4v3. I'll run through the armies pretty quick right now. We almost had a good versus good entirely, which is not too commonly seen, but I was quite excited to get it done. But Isengard is Uruk-hai mercenaries, whatever you want to come up with really. But I'm Dale. I wanted to go again for a rather expensive but small Dale list. And a lot of these Earls of Esgaroth, I was really impressed with them in the last battle, so I wanted to see how they'd sort themselves out in a siege. So I've got one of them up there, pushing one of the rams, and then the other two rams are commanded by controlled by these 3 Lake Town infantry, just to provide a bit more, a few more numbers to a siege force. In the back here I've got 4 archers, 2 of them are Lake Town bowmen, and then 2 of them are Bardian marksmen. Bardian marksmen of course going to be pretty useful in the actual melee stages of the siege too, but Lake Town bowmen are more just there to take fire from the enemy. I'd get a few lucky shots now and again too. Dalian Royal Guard to house my general, also dish out a little bit of ranged fire and be generally good in melee too. Then the real sort of killing power of my force here, these 4 pikes, Marquindi pikes here. Lake Town pikes really just to go off against any really poor quality infantry that the enemy may have, or face down some pikes for a while as well. But then the 2 Bardian herd are of course the main things that are going to be doing a lot of damage for me. 2 Lake Town River Patrol there as well, and then the last 2 Earls of Esgaroth. And then in the back here I do have some Earls of Dale. I will always bring a unit of melee cavalry to an Edoras siege. To most sieges I will usually bring a unit of melee cavalry, but when it comes to Edoras, every single time. Over here on the side, Y2K, Y2K86, he's got some Uruk-hai crossbows, 2 of them. Up the front here, some Dunlending clansmen, which you're always going to get just for the meat of it, and cannon fodder. Uruk-hai pikes in the back. Well, behind the crossbows anyway. The main melee force, or the main infantry line, is 2 Uruk Reavers, 2 Dunlending veterans, and 2 Uruk-hai infantry, without any armor upgrades on them. They're sort of good enough without it, really. Uruk-hai pikes, another unit of them there. Uruk-hai berserkers, no armor upgrade for them. I think they look a lot better without it, but they just blend in with the Naz-hai if you give it to them, but they'll do really well without it. The Naz-hai beside them, an Uruk-hai ballista, or an Isengard ballista, which is often banned on Edoras. We made sure before we grabbed it that we weren't banning it today. Some Uruk-hai infantry right here. These guys do have the armor upgrade, yes. Oh wait, no they don't. And the Trolls of the White Hand, the only troll unit on the field today. Over here on the far side, we've got the Realm of Imladris by, I'm going to say Glad UGC. Up the front, these archers, sort of elite elven archers there, some Neratino warriors beside them. Oh, that's like this is the general's bodyguard tier. I'm not too acquainted with Imladris, so I'm probably going to make a few mistakes here, but is that... I don't think I think that might be his general actually. And then some more Neratino warriors. Surely he wouldn't have the general on the front line though. I think I might be mistaken. In the back here, 2 Imladris Blade Masters. Then some Elder Enway Hero Hatau, spears there, doing a bit of pushing or just general killing as you'll get from elves. And counter enemy cav they charge out. These some more Sword Master units here in the back. And another unit of spears. Then we've also got 2 units of Imladris Guardians. These guys definitely do have the armor upgrade, which they look a lot better with it. I think that they look far too sort of militia tier when they don't have it. I always like to give it to them. Then the Gwathi Meridang, and another unit from Imladris Guardians there. So, well, I mean, you'll always get an elite force from Imladris, but Glad has not disappointed. And the last attacker is Ruin. Actually, shoot. He was good at first anyway, but then he switched to Ruin. So we've got a good versus good evil-esque force. Eastron Hunters won't find much better, just soak up enemy fire. There's some Varieg mercenaries there with their shield and their small armor value. They'll do pretty well at that as well. Some more Varieg mercenaries. Alongside 2 Alok Narim. In the back of the main line, some Camels Chosen, that's where he's got his general. Then 3 Flagrim. Some Dragon's Wrath crossbows, try and keep an eye on them. A Balchoth tribesman. Some more Eastron crossbows, 2 of them. That's just one. No, that's 2 units. Then another unit of Balchoth tribesmen. So all in all, lots of crossbows, but lots of range units all together, which is going to be a bit of a nuisance for getting through the dwarven armor in front of us in these dwarven shields. But with the excess of crossbows, I think we've got a decent chance. So we've got Umad Kulmander taking on using the dwarves of Erebor, and then we've also got the dwarves of Khazad-dûm by X Rainbows. In addition to that, we have Gondor, played by Blobfrog. So over here on the left, we've got a Ironfoot Halberds, 2 unit of 3rd Legion Infantry. I'll probably actually put up to normal speed while I run through these while we just make our way forward. I'll just be calling things out as I see them anyway. 3rd Legion Infantry there. Some Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm. Some more Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm there. Yes, these 3rd Legion walking on back. Dwarven Miners, just for the numbers of it. We'll definitely be outnumbering this force, considering the quality of these armies. 2 Ironfoot Warriors with the armor upgrade. Actually, without the armor upgrade. In the back, Ironfoot Halberds. Then over here, this is a Nimlothian Honor Guard unit, along with a Gondor Infantry. And a Veterans of Osgiliath, 2 of them. Up with this main spine of Edoras, some sentries of Khazad-dûm moving into place. Ironfoot Warriors mixed in with some Gondor Infantry. Some Ironfoot Crossbows there. Some more Ironfoot Crossbows. The Highborns of Erebor right there. Kerandros Swordmasters, there's 2 of them. The Dwarven Catapult in a nice position here. Not got the same range as a ballista, well, a trebuchet would, but certainly got a lot more firepower to dish out if you say fired upon this area. The Orc Hunters already opening fire. Erebor Legionnaires. Legion Bodyguard. Blacklock Engineers. Erebor Legionnaires. Sons of Durin in the back there. Dragon Slayers and Hammers of Gundabad. And then watching this backside is being left Khazad-dûm with his Orc Hunters. 2 Sons of the Fallen. 2 Warriors of Khazad-dûm, without armor upgrades for any of his Warriors of Khazad-dûm, and the 1st Legion Pikes. I think the Khazad-dûm Warriors, the Warriors of Khazad-dûm, look a lot better without the armor upgrade, so I don't blame him for that. Now, seeing immediately that the enemy does not have any melee cav, I decide, well, they're heavily armored, they've got a shield, let's just waste some enemy arrows on them. So I ran forward to this position, where the enemy does not have a very good shot on me at all, and he used up quite a few volleys on me. I got pretty lucky with that. I of course lost a few Earls, but the Earls are really not going to be a huge amount of use inside of these walls, so every arrow, every volley that I could receive was a benefit for me. Playing as Dale, I've got access to a lot of good quality archers, and we did discuss it. Our plan for this battle, one of the reasons this battle went on so long, is because we needed to use our archer advantage. We needed to make sure that we weren't just rushing in. So I sent forward these bowmen. Again, I've successfully baited a few shots at him, but he does click pretty quick. That he works out what I'm doing. But he decides to give a shot or 2 toward these bowmen. Now I will be jumping back and forth from 2 speed to 1 speed, just as I say, because it's a very long battle. And if I go 1 speed all the way through, it's going to take quite some time. So he does open fire on my bowman, and as you can see, he is pretty damn successful at cutting through them. But no matter how many bowmen you kill, as long as they don't rout off the field, I'm going to still fire the exact same amount of arrows at you. So I'm okay with this. I'm pretending, of course, running away. It's like, oh no, you're killing me, and this is very bad for me. But in reality, this is exactly what I want. So he does switch fire. Again, killing heaps of these guys too. Now that they've taken on the opening volley, I'm moving up the Bardian marksman. With their armor and shield, they'll take fire a little bit better. And again, they're better in melee. I don't really want them to get shot. But if they have to, I'd rather they take fire rather than a lot of my infantry do. Because even with this shield, these Lake-Tide infantry are going to, absorb arrow fire. So I've got Isengard coming up here on the side. I've not actually played Edoras for a while, when I've done it with just 4 players. So I was on this side and I wasn't actually, because of the way that the field is divided up, I'm more used to attacking this side by myself. So I was quite interested to see what would happen with Isengard forming up on my flank. So I moved over a bit just so that this was going to be the area that I was attacking. Everywhere sort of from the gate, from this tower up to about there was my zone. I think our allies, they pushed up the rams. What they decided to do was just rush the rams forward, drop the rams there and then fall back. Just so that, when they do attack, it's just a case of running forward, grabbing the rams, and it's a very short distance instead of the very publicised action of marching the rams across the open field. Bardian marksmen, of course, as you can see, are taking a bit of damage. Lost about 10 of them, over 10 of them there. Generally absorbing fire from these veterans of Osgiliath, I believe, were the main culprits. Yeah, and you can see he is falling back because although those veterans are very good, I will be able to beat them just because of the real mass of archer fire. Now that frees up a lot of these infantry for being targeted. He does have a shield, but they're facing away from me right now. It's quite difficult to arrange your boys in these cramped streets, but I think that was just something he didn't notice. And that's actually 2 Nimlothian on the ground there. Of course, just not too much point in me firing at them straight from the front. Their massive shield and heavy armour is going to absorb all that very easily. I see these Ironfoot halberds though, and although they do have great armour, they don't have a shield, so I'm targeting them quite a bit, especially when they've turned their back to me. Gondor infantry, again, just falling away. Pretty happy with that. Good use of my ammo, I felt. Isengard already getting his rams up forward. He doesn't have as much of a range component, although he does have heaps of crossbows. We kind of want to save those for now. So he's just they've left this starting area. Usually the enemy will try to barricade them off, but in Edoras, of course, you can burst as many holes as you want in the line. So it's very difficult to hold this starting position. So falling back is not a bad idea. I get these Bardian marksmen in position, wanting to target, once again, these halberdiers from this position here. As I say, I don't think the enemy was prepared for us to bring just so many archers to this fight. But even with us racking up quite a lot of kills here, what we have in archers we lack in skilled infantry. So they're just waiting us out, using up our ammunition, and usually it's the attackers that use up the defenders' ammunition. This time it's kind of the opposite way around.
Men have done well. The gates have fallen.
But with our freedom to advance as we see fit, we have lost 7% for their 4. But as I say, most of that is my bowmen and men that don't really matter too much to me. So with those holes being busted open, I kind of want to get stuck in and start breaking holes on my own, just in order to take this initial area, so that mainly I can open fire with my archers and get better shots, because they're not trying to fight us in this open area. So why waste my ammunition from outside of the fort when I can just enter and fire inside? On the other side, they're not really advancing too much just yet, which I don't blame them for. As I say, it was definitely Y2K's pace that was kind of well, being followed by a lot of us here. Oh, that's unfortunate. I wonder who they're targeting. I think, yeah, there's a few dwarves in front of them, and they're trying to sort of fire over this hill, so they end up shooting straight up, which is never really something you want to do with your very valuable ammunition as a defender. I've exposed my infantry to his archer fire now, though, and these veterans are going to be able to land some good shots on me. Oh no, there's the Bardians, but
The enemy's walls. Time to slay our ungodly foe.
I was happy enough with how few casualties I was really taking to these Lake Town infantry. They are, at the end of the day, they're made for fodder, but I did want to use them to lock enemy units in place, wear them down for my more experienced units, and also hopefully get some kills on, say, units like Gondor infantry and the archers once they had used up ammo. They're far from useless, I feel, in melee. So you see, this is what I wanted to do here. Now that I've broken this hole, I can just get my Lake Town bowmen right in, and even though you're firing an armoured shield line, when you can guarantee, or pretty much guarantee, that not one of your arrows is going to miss, it's not a bad idea. Although what I am rushing forward now is my Lake Town River Patrol, because they are what I want to use here. They are what I want to do this, not my archers. Here they are coming on up. Got the Earls of Esgaroth here to back anything up.
Now is the time for brave hearts and brave deeds.
So we are now breaking as many entrances into this fort as we possibly can. He comes out with his dwarven miners to attack me. Not really wanting to expose a proper unit to my javelin fire. What was this fire actually doing? No, I decided to retreat. Didn't really want to get caught up by those dwarven miners, so I run on back. Everybody's crouching down now.
Our soldiers have proved their worth today. The enemy's walls belong to
But
us now.
with a quick volley from the River Patrol and the Earls of Esgaroth threatening them, I know they do have AP, these dwarven miners. Also the Earls of Dale rushing in. Now I do follow them with the Earls of Dale, because all he's wanting to do now is get back, get safe, behind a line of, you know, an actual defensive line, so I'm able to cut apart quite a few of them with these melee cav. And even though they are dwarven, dwarven militia, they're still dwarves. They've got their armor, they've got some good weapons, and certainly far better than a lot of human militia units. So I now get the River Patrol up. I think they even get a quick volley in. They do, yep. And now with their with their quite depleted number, I feel okay with like having the River Patrol just fight them. I was going to get my Earls around to the side and help deal with them that way. What we got on the rest of the side? Isengard really, you know, just going for it. Getting really stuck in here, which is good. When the enemy gives you this sort of space, get your boys in. Don't just attack straight away. Just form up. Now that is leading to a lot of archers coming into a snagga, but that's not bad. As long as your snagga are at least half full, they're still going to be pretty effective. The Milithian Honor Guard going to be very good against this. Well, you know, no unit is really going to be great up against sustained javelin fire, but they're going to hold out a lot better than other units would. Let's see what's going on the other side now, because I wasn't able to pay too much attention, of course, during the battle. A lot of units getting moved on back. I've talked about this little passageway a lot before, and just how dangerous it is to have your units stuck here when the enemy pushes through on both sides. Sorry. Good. These Ironfoot warriors did push on through, and I managed to get my Bardian herd and catch them. Now again, Earls of Dale. Sorry. I wasn't too worried about using them in this sort of manner. You know, they were doing quite well, but it was generally the Bardian herd that were doing the damage here. Now, yes, these Irish warriors, what do they do here? Because I thought it was a little later that all this happened. Okay, yes, good. So, they come out, and I match them with the Earls of Esgaroth. I was really interested to see how this fight would go, because the Earls of Esgaroth do not have an armor-piercing weapon, but they are very skilled, and have, so they were going to be defeated there. Interesting. I would have liked to see that that play out for longer, actually. I might just run a quick test at some point, just give the AI 1 unit of Ironfoot warriors. Now this is what I wanted to do here, was get my Earls of Dale out and around and hit the back of those 3rd Legion. But this unit of Ironfoot warriors being there just stops me from doing that. And I should have done it earlier when, as soon as those Ironfoot warriors were down here, I should have detached them, gotten them around and through. And that would have meant that being hit from one side by these Uruk-hai Reavers and hit from the back, it would cause a lot of problems for even a unit as good as the 3rd Legion Infantry. Because right now these Snaga Skirmishers and Uruk-hai Reavers are probably not going to be defeating that force. Nothing more to challenge our friends here so they can move up and take use of this big open space. Start filing their men into it, but that is of course exactly what this capital wants us to do. So we need to take our time. Y2K moving up, engaging these Fountain Guard from the front. These Dunlending clans will tire them slightly, but this is exactly sort of the fight that these Fountain Guard want to do. Oh, they're actually holding themselves. Now something one of my teammates stated during the battle is that pikes on uneven ground are very easy to defeat. Now that is something that I have sort of noticed on Edoras a bit, but there's still pikes, and as long as they can get into a half decent formation, they're going to do quite well. So I don't know if there is some sort of uneven ground issues that the pikes do suffer. It's something I'll probably look into. And Lothian Honor Guard again going to come in and just crush this unit. I did finally manage to force my Earls of Dale through to engage this back, but I do feel maybe it was a bit too late. All we've got up here are these Snaga Skirmishers and a handful of Reavers left, and the troops that could really maybe hurt them are now being engaged on this other side. Snaga Skirmishers hitting them though. I managed to break, well, I'm in the process of breaking through thanks to Obi-Wan Glorfin, or Obi-Wan Glorfi. Yep, I've actually forgot to state his name at the start. But with this position secured now, it is an incredibly useful position to hold. I'm getting my River Patrol to pepper this line on the side here. But something that is making tracks toward it are the Dragon's Wrath crossbows. So I'm going to try to make sure I'm looking at this area to observe how much damage they get to perform over here. So it's 22 for 20 now, quite close. As I say, in the earlier stages of a siege, as the defender, you really want to be racking up a lot more kills, because it usually comes a lot closer nearer the end of the battle. This ballista, as I say, this is kind of why a lot of people like to ban the Isengard ballista in this for Edoras. It's just it can be so effective, and yeah. See, these Nimlothian Honor Guard, every one of them is so important, and we're just cutting through swathes of them. But they are falling back, and that is giving us more ground here. I'm getting my Lake Town Infantry just to inhabit this area, just they're a little bit closer when I do need to call upon them. These Lake Town Infantry have still not sacrificed that ram, so I will realise that soon and move them up as well. Merquindi Pikes, I do not want them to be cut to pieces by arrow fire, so they're holding back for now. I want to keep them so they can go toe to toe with, perhaps, well, it would have been preferably they'd go toe to toe with, say, the Fountain Guard. Good. The Dragon's Wrath crossbows are looking for targets. They're in this perfect position. And yeah. Quite a lot of damage here. Now of course they don't have much ammunition, but they are hurting this line terribly. Yeah, that's a tremendous amount of damage they were able to throw out. They've still got a bit of ammo. And even then, the Dragon's Wrath crossbows are not terrible in melee, so it's I think they've been quite well used today. Sentries of Khazad-dûm, again, heavy armor, but not really going to be able to go up against a lot of arrow fire from the front. due to their lack of a shield. So, 3rd Legion. Yeah, they were very aggressive throughout this entire battle, which I really did appreciate. You know, these Nuritino warriors had to run in and hold back this force so they wouldn't sprint down and kill a lot of our Loknarim, maybe even get around and deal with these Dragon's Wrath crossbows. So I had to, but as I say, glad threw them in there and told us about it. So I prepared to throw my Bardian Marksman in if I had to. I was really impressed with the amount of communication that we were getting done throughout this battle. It was nice to see. You know, you get so many fights where you never communicate with anybody throughout the entire siege, but we were doing well with that today, or yesterday when we had the battle. Still got a few Earls of Dale. I was impressed with them. Like as soon as I realised they didn't have anything to charge out at us, I knew, of course, because they were 2 Dwarven units and 1 Gondor unit, that they don't really have access to a lot of great units that they could charge us. But I still felt maybe that's just what they're expecting us to think, so we won't be prepared for it. So I thought if I grab an Earls of Dale, it means nobody else needs to, and everybody else can focus on the actual sieging army. So I get these men around just to answer to this 3rd Legion, who have broken through, but the Flag Rim, my Bardian Marksman, and now the Earls coming in, you can see, yeah, definitely the target was up here. Unfortunate that we were able to catch those guys, but I definitely do understand why he did it, and it was quite a sensible idea, I thought. They've got their men kind of bundled up here, but kind of just what you had to do, as we still had a lot of ammunition for our archers, and we had a lot of very powerful tools. At this point, has he started moving it yet? No. I think at this point someone did point out to the Isengard Ballista that, or to Y2K, that the Isengard Ballista would probably be better placed over here, so that it could fire up and over into the main line of defence. Well, sort of the final line of defence up there. And we did start moving that, because as for targets over here, it's starting to run a bit thin. These sentries could be nice, but yeah, so you can see it moving now. Still got the Earls in reserve, and these infantry are still hanging around back here. But I've got so much left in reserve, so 30 for 35 now. I get my Lake Town infantry. Now this was something kind of strange. This units are splits apart like that, and I order them to just join this line here, and they end up finding a path up through there and all the way into the back of these sentries. So I was pretty happy with that, you know, just backstab some sentries at Khazad-dûm. You know, I really wish these units were of better quality. That would have been pretty great, even though only 5 of them managed to break through. Now, I think it was unfortunate at this point that Blowfrog lost connection to the game, so that was terribly upsetting. But it was great that we were able to continue the game afterward, because, you know, usually when somebody loses connection, the game bugs out. But yes, so luckily, his men are in okay positions, but it could have been a lot better, and there will be a lot of things I point out during the fight that could have been changed had he been there. Now, this is when they start getting some revenge for all of the special weapons we've been using on them, and they start rattling out some shots into our nice compact forces there with their capital. I think these Dragon's Wrath crossbows still have some ammo, don't they? No, they're done. Yep, that's unfortunate. Oh, yes, no. So he is wanting to target that Isengard Ballista. Now we tried to move it there, but Y2K said that he was unable to get it to fire from that position, so he had to move it up very dangerously, which of course takes the ire off the catapult onto the ballista. So if nothing else, every volley from that catapult that is going toward the ballista, this would be a terrible time for a shot to hit, but every shot that is going toward the Isengard Ballista is one less that's hitting our more mid-tier units that are starting to show up. Yeah. that was a sad time for my pikes. Yeah, they showed up with 150 men, and they take that volley. I think they take a lot of orc hunter fire. They decide to, in their panic, they route toward the enemy. It's a bad time. It's just unfortunate. I didn't expect much from them. I knew that they would only really wear down or pick apart an enemy unit, but I hoped they would do more than that. But that was not their fault. They they took that catapult fire like a champ. So, and I think those 36 men actually do end up returning. So that was all I can really ask for. Get my Bardian Marksman. Not too many of those left in this force, and I'm just I was struggling for targets. I definitely did take too many archers, or at least I think our team as a whole took too many archers, because there were problems. Like we couldn't. There they are immediately. Like yeah, I was so happy with that. They actually did manage to come back. It's quite impressive. Bardian herd here, certainly not in the best formation to be getting moved up there, and what is making it a lot worse is that the Black Blocs have opened fire. And there's quite a lot of friendly fire coming in from the side there, from our archers. From these Uruk-hai crossbows. Oh, okay. Oh no, they're hitting more enemies than they're hitting of us, so that's pretty good. But now, where are those Black Blocs? Oh, yeah, so something that we did say pretty quick was, although these targets are pretty beautiful, for Blowfrog, we were not going to hit Blowfrog's units. Not just yet, but we decided to not hit Blowfrog's units with the Eisenberg Ballista, just because we felt if he was there, he would move them into a better position, he would move them out of our sight even. So it's so we start picking other targets with the Ballista. Which was, I thought that was quite a kind idea from, I think that was Run that suggested that. So yeah, Obi-Wan, which was good. Lake Town River Patrol out of ammunition, just moving up to engage. But then Glad suggested to me, you know, it would be much better if I get to do my charge, or at least if I get to engage with my swordsman. So I thought, yep. So he asked me, I pulled my river patrol out. A lot of rocks. I think he's just wanting to open fire faster. I still think you're better off using fire shot. But no, he's yeah, you see, that could have been a few guys dead, but all he's looking for is one lucky shot to hit that ballista. But still, I think the AoE of that fire shot could have done more. I'm just feeding my troops into this hold now. So even though Blowfrog did lose connection, his troops were some of his troops were in pretty good positions to hold us back. Let's see, these Nimrothian Honor Guard are not going to be cracking for quite some time. We're seeing the what are these guys? The Highborns of Erebor have been thrown in. Erebor Legionnaires keeping us back there. Dalian Royal Guard, I get them up here because I see the Black Book. Well, right now, not right now, but in a moment, the Black Book Engineers will open fire, and I decide to try and target them. I know I don't have armor piercing, but I'll just try to kill a few of them. Little by little, Rune is moving his forces up. Those Sapphire Bladesmen are going to be exceptional at breaking through the final lines of defense. 51 for 55 now. Wow! Oh my goodness! Right, okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't notice that. Yeah, that was a very painful shot. Sometimes it's actually quite nice to be limited down to only one piece of artillery. I find you're able to use it a lot more carefully, and although you're only dishing out one shot every now and again, you're still got the same amount of ammunition, and you can do a lot more with that one shot. So I think that was a yep. You can see the bolt there. I don't know if you call it ballista bolt or if there is another word for it. Probably is, but that was one of his catapults down. Yep, this line has almost shattered. but with some axe throwers being put in, it'll hold for a little while longer. But they need to get something more substantial. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh dear. Oh well, that's just something you've got with the dwarven catapult. Like it's gonna go wild. So. Oh, some axe throwers hitting my Lake Town infantry. But yeah, so I decided to put the Marquindi pikes up at this point. We were really making no progress on this position here with the Agfoot halberdiers and the legionaries. It just wasn't going to work out, so I inserted them there, believing that the black blocks were out of ammunition. I was wrong. Spoiler alert. But we'll try to take note of that when it happens. So that was me at half of my lane left, and with so many Lake Town infantry left and a few units of Lake Town bowmen, I was getting pretty nervous. So I get my Royal Guard around. I'm just not able to find any shots here, so I moved my Royal Guard over here, trying to see if I could hit anything, but I just couldn't. I was really struggling to find targets for my archers. I think part of it was definitely we had all of the best positions used by the crossbows, which was rightly so. And maybe I should have just waited, you know, until these crossbows had run out of ammo, moved on, and then moved my Royal Guard up there. But my Royal Guard do end up getting put on to just Blacklock hunting duty. Blacklocks have moved around to this side, hoping to target this from the side. We've got some Urkai crossbows. Oh, there's a lot of archers being slammed into melee here, but there are a few good quality Ladris units. They'll all die the same to Blacklock fire though. 44 left in that unit, and we've still got lots of ammo. You know, he was being so careful with them. You know, he wasn't just allowing them to open fire willy-nilly. He was just giving off one volley, moving somewhere. Which, one, it made it very difficult to counter them, because every time we moved something to shoot at them, he was gone. And then two, it was very good for conserving ammunition. Marquindi pikes have been thrown into this now, or I'd like to see more carefully moved into position here, rather than thrown in. And we are collapsing this position, but I do believe that part of the reason for that is that the halberds have... Oh no, there's just not many halberds left. So I think that perhaps wasn't necessary to move the Marquindi pikes up, but they were definitely very beneficial. It allowed us to break through this position quite a lot faster, and with fewer casualties. Earls of Esgaroth, not many of those left, as we start to break through this position. Sons of Durin moving up. I've got these Lake Town infantry. I should have probably rushed them forward right now, I think, actually, while there's an opening. Just 138 bodies rushing forward could have taken ground. What's happening there? Axe throwers still coming in, probably aiming for the Marquindi pikes, taking out quite a few of them. But it's hard to miss when people are blobbed up like this. Okay, so Body Marksman and Earls of Esgaroth. I decide I'm going to move around, because all we've got over here is one unit of Sons of the Fallen. Everything else has started to move back. So I get my men moved up into position, hoping perhaps not to break through here, but to stop them from pulling everything up to actually just defend one position. We had the momentum. Well, didn't so much have momentum, but we had numbers where it mattered. We couldn't let them just overpower us.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Marquindi pikes, as you can see here, have been formation has been disconnected. This is something that's very tough with Edoras because of these very tight streets. It's very easy for it's very easy for formations to break down, especially when you have so many different groups slotted into the same area. You know, my Lake Town infantry are just taking up space that could be used by the Marquindi pikes. Now that the more elite units, or higher tier units of such as the Hammers of Gundabad have been slotted in, that's going to do a lot of damage to us. Don't really have anything up there right now to counter it. One of the last Lake Town infantry forces getting slotted in now just to help us push through here. Of course they can't do shield wall, they couldn't actually physically push, but Or not well, anyway. But they can do some damage. Who's this? Oh no, that's from the Dalian Royal Guard. I really wanted this to seem like I was pushing through quite hard, but by the time I get here, unfortunately he's got these pikes in position. And also, he's got these orc hunters. So, I couldn't get through this. I couldn't get through those First Legion pikes, not with this force. So, I still wanted to hold these guys here for a little bit longer, so I moved up a little. He displaces his pikes, and I thought, great, okay, if I hit him now, when he's not in formation, I could do some damage. So I rush forward. He's hitting me from the back with his orc hunters, and I've actually got the control right now. So I see. So that was the Bardian marksman. I think perhaps had I had the Earls of Esgaroth get in there first, I could have done more damage with that initial charge. Now, I was never going to break through that position, even hitting them like that, but I got 1 or 2 kills. So I pulled back before I suffered too many losses. Ouch, that was a Dalian Royal Guard guy that went down there. So yeah, run on back, and as I say, suffered a lot of casualties, but because these are decent quality troops that I'm losing over here, but at least I forced him to pull down his pikes for a little while longer. Little dwarven legs are going to take quite a while to get all the way back up here. So we do outnumber them on this front line, but most of the numbers are made up by Lake Town infantry. So these Blacklock engineers now thrown into melee. Not many prettier sights than that. You know, you're not going to get hit by any Blacklocks. Over on this side, the Imladris force is now backed up by a little Variag men. They're starting to breach through.
Holy Father, save us! Our enemy is in control of the city.
Here are my men coming on back, just going to be looking for a place to slot them in now. Perhaps, maybe I should have always left, say, a unit of Bardian marksmen just sitting right here, just so that they knew that I was going to advance as soon as I possibly, as soon as they gave me an opportunity to do so. Now, something pretty clever that X Rainbows does here is he's still got heaps of ammunition in these orc hunters. This is us in the very late stages of the fight now, and you're not expecting to get shot by anything. So he uses what's left of his ammunition to pretty good effect. Marquindi Pike's almost finished now. Oh, one that pushed forward a little bit too far. But no, we're gaining ground and we're getting kills. There's not a substantial line of defense, and as I say, this is where Blobfrog, had he been able to take control of these Swordmasters, just slotting them in as a unified force to back up everybody else would have done so much. I get these bowmen in, just wanting to hit these veterans from the side. Now, of course, these warriors of Khazad-dûm will crush my bowmen. Oh. Now, what happened there? Not certain. Nope, they're still working. They're still firing. Now, if they can hit our side there, that would be pretty great. Ah, that's a shame. Yeah, I think it's either the ruins of this catapult or it's something that is just getting in the way. And now with that guy dead, I don't think one man can operate a catapult. I made that mistake in a recent battle with a Hwacha. I left one man alive and controlled Hwacha, thinking that you needed 2 men to operate it. No, you did not. And so I received a quick Hwacha volley before I turned around to kill him. Yep, these Orc Hunters get a good shot on our side there. Orc Hunters are certainly not bad quality archers, so they're gonna hurt us there, especially these lighter armed Variag men, armored Variag men. Warriors of Khazad-dûm, they're holding us back quite nicely, but as I say, this is where the First Legion pikes are needed, and this is why I was quite happy with my action down there in holding back the First Legion pikes for a while. Now, of course, he doesn't want to run them all the way up this hill, they're just going to get here exhausted. So it's these warriors just need to hold us back long enough. Gondor infantry as well, not armoured up Gondor infantry, but still, that's a lot of manpower that can come in and hold us back, easily kill what's left of my Merquendi pikes, my infantry, and these Baljoth tribesmen in LI. Sure, the Imladris Guardians will most likely beat them, but it's yeah, it was a shame. Bardian marksman, as I say, I just don't want to have more men throw themselves into this blob. You know, if there's no space, then I'll just keep them back. But... So yes, that position is now bugged out, unfortunately, with his one more artillerist. In reserve, we've got these Imladris Guardians, Loke Flag Rim, looks like some camels chosen there. Some more Loke Flag Rim and just a more depleted unit. Got my Bardian Marksman. I think, is there more? No, Imladris at this point is throwing just about everything he has up into this position. These Sapphire Bladesmen, they've still got ammunition. Ah, the Dragon's Wrath Guildsmen. Yeah, they come over here and they just start hurling their I don't know if they're called Naphatun in this, but I know that's the name of them in the original Medieval 2. So they do quite a bit of damage to that force, but that's the amount of ammunition, and they're not really wanting to face them off 1v1 right now, not from the front anyway. So they just stare them down and say that's just one more unit that can't turn their back to them, can't come over here to stop our main attack. Our elite units.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Now, of course, although they are very depleted on this front line, that just gives the Orc Hunters a more perfect shot, which they're using very well to just kill a lot of elves and other units in front of them. I think I'm probably going to increase the speed. It's oh no, yep, good. So you can see Rune is now with everything they've got either being engaged or needing to be held back. It's clear now that Rune can push through here, so he's sending up what he had in reserve just here around the side. Apart from that, we've got these stone crossbows out of ammunition, but that's still 112 bodies, which in the later stages of the game, 112 bodies can really turn the tide. So we'll jump up to about 6 speed, well, 2-6 speed, and just for a bit as we continue to grind away. 80 for 85. First Legion pikes have finally arrived, so they sort themselves out. Now, they're not quite long enough to get all the way around the side. You see a few of them are moving around. And although it does say defeat right now, actually, did they start sorting that out? I think they do. Yes, good. So it's a bit back and forth, which it always will be when you're low on numbers like this, but they're no doubt killing a lot for what they're using. Until these Imladris Guardians force their way through that side. Dailian Royal Guard, as I say, just waiting for an opportunity to strike. In terms of elite units that they have left, they've still got a lot of these Dragon Slayers. No doubt a few of them are pretty badly damaged. These Legion Bodyguard, the Blacklock Engineers cannot be discounted in melee. And that's about it in terms of everything really. So we were feeling pretty good, but as I say, I'd love to have seen how this would have continued with Blowfrog in command of his forces, because once we breach through this position, we still do have to fight them, of course, but we're fighting them from the side and we're fighting them one at a time, as as they are just want to stay in this current position. They're not really wanting to move around to actually attack us back, which is unfortunate, because as I say, they're swordmasters. They're not. So that's Isengard taken out there. So they're certainly not units you can discount in melee. Even the Gondor infantry at this stage would beat a lot of what we have on the field. Last unit of Earls there, just doing what they can, 57 of them left. Just wanting to hold the focus of these pikes while we curl up around. Positioning these swordmasters, stopping us getting a full curl. Orc Hunters now thrown in, Legion Bodyguard coming back down here. I think it was clear to them that we were going to break through here, so they just decided to throw everything they have into the main assault, and hopefully turn that back and then turn around for this. Now, these Sons of the Fallen are pretty exceptional. They do their very best, but what actually ends up happening is the forces of Ruin push all the way around them, and there's still this little pocket of dwarves in the centre fighting out for quite some time, even though all the runic forces are charging up the hill, just to try and get a backstab into the main force.
If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
Yeah, these Legion Bodyguard up here. Oh, good. Yep, the Gwathi Meridain will be able to face those Legion Bodyguard quite nicely. Right now we don't really have anything else up there. I was trying to funnel my Royal Guard up there to match the Legion Bodyguard, but with the mob I didn't quite make it, and the Gwathi Meridain beat me to it anyway, so I decided to focus instead on finishing off these pikes. Yeah, he starts yelling quite a bit in this later stage, and but as you can see, this is what I was talking about. Just an entirely surrounded Sons of the Fallen force as we just run around them. Because all we need to do at this point is run up and take the centre. Because this defence here is going to hold for quite some time actually. Khazad-dûm is going to do what it does. I was hearing firepower. Ah, yeah, these strong crossbows still have ammo. I think they're firing with the Gondor infantry, perhaps in poor taste, but
good news, the enemy is no longer in command of the city.
This one dwarven catapult man just moving back to hold the centre.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this,
So starting to sort of turn the tide now as we've mixed up into the swarm of Gondorians. As I say, but taking them from the flank, and unfortunately these Gondor infantry, we're going to be taking them from the back. It's we'll deal with them quite easily.
The enemy army runs. We must pursue and hunt them down.
So all in all, it was you'll see my kills and losses at the end. It was an interestingly formed army. I do love Dale's elite troops, and I will most certainly experiment with this sort of army in the future. But I most certainly made some mistakes. You know, 937 kills. I was okay with that, but Obi-Wan really carried the day there for us. Y2K with his ballista did a lot of good work, but no, I was and he had so many people left there. Still 701 men left, and a lot of those javelins. So there was a lot of fight left in him, whereas I think the rest of us were sort of running on fumes there. Well, they all still had a lot of their troops, so that's fair enough. I think that yeah, Blobfrog had we still had him, I'd love to. To be honest, I think we still could have won. I think we would have still won, but it would have been a heck of a lot closer. And you know, I just think the amount of elite troops we had there at the end would have turned the tide for us. But no, as I say, I'll do some thinking on it. But I still think we would have been able to turn it around. Dalian Royal Guard didn't really engage in melee properly, but they could have racked up a lot more kills at range. I was kind of stupid with them. Couldn't really find them a good target. The Bardian marksman there, yeah, definitely should have gotten more than 21 kills out of ammunition, you know, and of course they didn't do too much melee fighting, but no, they could have done more. I just think with the amount of ranged units we had in that fight, all of the good spots were always taken, and I think I just wasn't really patient enough to wait my turn. So I just went for you know, spots that weren't really as good. Two Lake Town bows, they did their duty. You know, like I'm always going to be happy enough with them, and in this case, yeah, 60, 67 kills, 49 kills. I'm all right with that. Yeah. Uh, the Merquindi Pikes, I would have liked to have seen them rack up a few more kills, but they did receive a lot of Blacklock attention. They received a good sort of 2 Blacklock volleys and a lot of axes. So I understand why they didn't maybe kill as many, but at the same time, they were fighting uphill against dwarves, so they did the best they could. Lake Town Pikes, I'm surprised they racked up 10 kills. They ran from combat immediately as well. They ran from combat as soon as they were hit by those catapults and Orc Hunter fire, so they did good. Bardi and Herd, that 19 was just me really mismanaging them. They weren't cut apart by archer fire. I think I think they definitely did receive a bit of Blacklock attention, but that was the swarm that I sent up that kept they didn't spread out. They were a column of pikes, and that was dumb. I shouldn't have used them like that. I should have seen that developing, pulled them back, formed up properly, and then either waited my turn for a good chance to attack them or pushed up as a combined unit. The Earls, good mix. I would have liked to see them all rack up about 70 kills, but just wasn't meant to be from them. I think the lack of AP when they're fighting up against a double dwarven force and then Gondor as well, heavy armor, is sort of to be expected. But I've sort of fallen in love with the Earls of Esgaroth. I just like them, so they're always going to show up. River Patrol, 121 kills is about all I can ask for. They did really good, and one of them was definitely fighting the miners. Perhaps not the most prestigious kills, but still kills. So that's all right. The 3 infantry, yeah, the 9 is unfortunate. Always want to see a bit more than that, but again, attacking a dwarf held position without AP is going to go that way. Earls of Dale, I was impressed. I was glad. I was quite happy with myself that I was able to find opportunities to use the Earls of Dale, and that they weren't just a wasted 1,000 florins that could have been spent on many other things. So no, it was good. Apart from that, yeah, I don't think I've got much more to say about this battle. I do love Edoras. I've done a few. Well, I've done another report on that now, but it's always kind of fun to play it. Right, thank you very much.